Tom,
Pete.
when you are going about cleaning your home, how do you go about just thinking about like getting rid of stuff?
Getting rid of stuff? You meaning like doing a clean out?
Yeah. Like a clean out.
Ever since I moved to this apartment, and that was years and years ago, I did such an enormous purge from my old apartment to this one that I really got into, what's her name?
Marie Kondo.
Marie Kondo.
She sparks joy.
Know that she wasn't around yet when I moved, or she was, and I don't know. And clearly I didn't even know her name just now. But I got rid of so many movies, so many books. I just made a big fire in the front lawn. No, I donated them, of course. And I loved that so much that now I'm just keeping that. I like that I'm saying that. And I'm looking at my desk, which is cluttered beyond repair. So certain parts, little parts of my life are very good and clutter free. And even, for instance, I don't know if this is related enough, but I have a deal with myself because I still buy DVDs and Blu-rays every once in a while if there's something that I really love. I have a deal now that I have a buy one, donate one. I'm not
one
I
in,
have
one
to
out.
like get
One in, one out.
Exactly from now on because there's just a pile of them on the floor. How about you? Why do you ask?
How's that going for you?
Great.
It doesn't count if the one out is a pile on your floor. It does not count. You have to actually get it out of your house.
Well,
that's the rule.
My trunk is filled with DVDs. I'll donate them soon enough.
We are in the middle of a purge at our house. It's the 2021 purge. And what we do in the month of January is every day of the month, you have to give away that number of things in your home. You have to declutter that many things.
1 through 12.
And 1 through, 31. It's the month of January.
Oh, the days. I thought you were going each month. Oh, got it.
No. What kind of purge is that? Over the course of a year?
Goodbye, pencil. I know. You would never get anywhere. Fair enough. I didn't think that through. Wow.
So if it is well thought out and you plan and strategize the things, the rooms that you're going through, it can be very easy and efficient. And we've done it a number of years. In fact, we have this little shared photo album with some friends that do it with us. And it's called the Blood Oath Challenge. And it turns out after 3 or 4 years, it's not really a blood oath at all. It's really easy because we all have a lot of crap.
Right.
And I liken it to the Jenga tower that is my life. And yesterday I got into my closet and I pulled the wrong Jenga thing. And so I'll show you what today's looks like.
Okay.
Just if you were on the live stream, you would see that I don't know, can you even see my closet here? This is the debris. The couch is full of about 300 cables, an old photo umbrella, some hard drive stuff, a microphone. There's a cat water thing there, and a rolling suitcase.
A ball gag?
Okay, we're going back up. We're going to turn off the camera. Oh, that was great. That was a really great little exercise. So that's what happened. Stuff poured out of my closet. And I just wanted to share 3 things with you that I found in my closet that caused me great anxiety.
Oh, no.
All of that is a preamble for 3 things.
Yeah.
1, food. Mostly protein bars.
Oh, okay. That's
all stale.
Yeah.
All stale. Some of them looked like they had been melted and then gone stale. Like, it's a non-zero number of protein bar trash.
Got it.
Because I have this, the way I sit, like I'm not sitting, at my stand-up desk, I have this like sliding door closet right next to me, right on my left. And I can just put stuff on the little shelf in there and close it and not think about it anymore. So that happened. There's just food. Now, it's gross and it causes me anxiety because you shouldn't have just food like ants and it's just awful. It's just awful. But then we get to the second thing, and that is body debris. I found
horrific combination of words.
Yeah, I know. I found a coaster, like a drink coaster. We have these wooden coasters full of fingernail clippings.
What?
Yeah.
Why? You weird Howard Hughes wannabe.
I don't know how, where does my system break down in the day where I'm clipping my nails not into a trash can or outside, but I am doing it into a coaster where one puts drinks. And then, why would I have said, at what point would I have said, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to set this coaster of fingernail clippings in my closet.
Did you think
I
that your
know.
closet was the trash can?
I know what happens when stuff goes in the closet. Need we go back to the aforementioned food?
Right.
The stale food?
It melts and then gets stale. Everything you put in there.
Everything it does. And the third thing I found, which is something that it's become very important to me, is this. Now, I'm showing it to you on the live stream. Do you know what this is?
Looks like a fake potato. Oh, that rhymes. But
yeah,
what is it? No, I don't know what that is. It looks like a radio that's a potato.
It is a potato, and it has these silver discs all over it. And those discs are electrically charged, Tom. And it is called the Shocktato. And I'm not kidding. You can see it. It's written there. It's called Shocktato.
What? Is this an invention that you made?
I didn't make it. It's actually based on the child's game Hot Potato, where when you turn it on, it plays music, and you have to throw it around to each other. And if whoever catches it, it shocks you. And there are 3 modes. There's lame, there's normal, and there's extreme.
So aggressive.
And lame just like tickles you. It's like nothing. Normal gives you a little shot. And extreme, it shocks you a lot. While you're holding it, you feel it all the way up your wrist. It's like a horrible thing. Yeah. And so this game is incredibly difficult to play. It gives me great stress.
Why would you ever want to play that? Wow.
I do this thing. I play it. It plays music. And so I hold it very carefully by the plastic parts. I put it on extreme and I'll hold it like this.
Yeah.
And it's like a game of like finger knives. The finger split.
Alien.
From Alien, because when the music stops, it's going to be lit up.
What's the
song? You can't see it. 1, 2, 3. Oh, and then
I'm predicting like a "Here It Goes Round the Mulberry Bush."
No, it's
it's the theme from Psycho. That alone, even if it didn't shock, I don't like that potato.
Yeah. No,
that was. Oh no! Shocktato for the win! That literally just happened. Oh no, are you okay? You Shocktatoed yourself.
Oh my God.
Oh no, Pete. You've been Shocktatoed.
I gotta.
Don't pick it up. Just kick it out the door.
It's the song. I don't know. Why. I don't know. And I'm the one who bought it. I bought it as like a family gag gift for Christmas some years ago. Look, all these things give me anxiety. I'm an anxious person. And like finding them again, it has caused great stress again and thought spiraling and horrible things. And also a potato that you hold in your hand and shocks the shit out of you if you don't give it to someone else in time. It seems like the perfect mascot, not only for this show, Tom, but anxiety writ large. F*** you, anxiety. Go shock someone else. Welcome to What's That Smell, a sometimes funny podcast about humans and their anxieties. I'm Pete Wright.
And I'm Tommy Metz III.
And each and every week, we drag one of our deepest, darkest anxieties into the light to share it, learn about it,
and hopefully laugh about it with all of you.
Reach out. Send us the story of your anxieties. Just visit whatsthatsmell.net. There's a button right at the top of the website, and you press it, and it'll take you to a form where you can send us your anxieties. You can go ahead and be anonymous if you'd like. You can share your name and email address if you'd like. You can tell us your name and then tell us not to share it. We'll do that too. And then you can share with us your anxiety so we can talk about it on the show. Whatsthatsmell.net. And with that, I will go first. I need to talk to you about space and about how you handle experiences of space.
Do you mean outer space?
I'd like to start
like
just
space around
physical,
you. Got it.
Physical space.
Because we're on record for saying outer space is the worst.
No, it's the worst. We agree on that a lot. And I think that may be the ultimate embodiment of the anxiety that I'm going to talk about with you today. How do you feel when you are standing in line, let's go back more than a year at this point. Just take yourself back. What is your sense experience of standing in line for the TSA at the Los Angeles International Airport on let's say a Christmas travel season, and you get up and you're in the ropes and there are a bazillion people behind you and nothing but TSA officers and bags in front of you? How do you feel at that moment?
So relaxed. No. It's like waiting in line in a sauna. No, it is, because it's usually too hot.
Because it's hot and it stinks.
Right. What's wrong with your sauna? Is it?
It just did it. Did you hear it? The Shocktato just said,
coming back to life?
Yeah, it came back to life. Anyway, go ahead.
No, it's not great. There's very little going on personally to equal the amount of just ambient stress that's happening.
Yeah.
Because it involves travel. It involves usually people by then are already fed up with the rest of the human race. So there's just always nervousness and anxiety and a feeling like there's a chance something can really just go wrong.
I think that's my experience of it too. And I think anytime I'm in line and I get to the point where there are like ropes and suddenly I'm in the ropes and I can't do anything about it, if I know that in order for me to achieve my destination, I have to stand in this space, I get a little bit wigged out. That increases my stress. And
is it claustrophobia almost? Like
that's
emotional
why I think this is interesting.
Yeah.
We've talked about claustrophobia a bit on the show. We've talked about elevators. We talked about buried alive. Why does that keep biting me in the butt? I don't know why I keep doing this stupid show. But but this is a variant, and I would like to introduce it to you as a listener submission.
Oh, okay. I didn't see where this was going. Excellent. Please continue.
This listener submission comes from the fantastic Hillary.
Hi, Hillary.
Hillary says, first, thanks for this podcast. It truly makes me feel less alone and crazy.
Oh.
I have a fear of being trapped. This can manifest as claustrophobia, although it's not the enclosed space that bothers me as much as the feeling of being stuck. I really don't like traveling by plane, not because flying scares me, but because I hate the feeling that once you are on the plane, you're stuck there until they let you off. Another example. A few years ago, when the solar eclipse was visible in the U.S., my husband and son really wanted to drive to where it was visible in totality. That meant driving on the one north-south highway in Idaho to the relative middle of nowhere in tinder dry conditions with thousands of other people at the same time. I envisioned being trapped in a day-long traffic jam full of drunk idiots and forest fires bearing down on us. I knew that I know, she's really making a meal out of it. I knew that any such catastrophe was unlikely, but it ate at me so much in the week or so leading up to the trip that I finally just decided to stay home. When they got home from the trip full of stories of how great it was, despite being stuck in a 2-hour traffic jam on the way back, I was sad that I let my anxiety get the better of me. I do think it has hurt my desire to travel in general. Thanks again for the great podcast. You make me laugh when I really need it, and you truly make a difference. Thank you, Hillary, for the submission, for
Thank you,
telling
Idaho,
us
Hillary.
the story.
No, Ohio? Idaho? Which one was it?
Idaho. It's Idaho. Yeah. So this isn't quite claustrophobia. You get the difference, what we're talking about as she sets up that context?
Very much so, because yes, very much so. You're more stuck in a location than stuck in a very small space. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have said any of those words.
They're great words, although I can expand on them further because in researching this, it's fascinating the extent to which we interpret our experience of being trapped when it comes to this anxiety.
Okay.
So claustrophobia, just to set the stage, claustrophobia is the fear of small places, right? It may cause panic when entering a small space, right? May cause anticipatory anxiety. So just thinking about a small space may cause you to get the Wiggins. What we're talking about here is cleithrophobia. Cleithrophobia. Cleithrophobia in a row. That makes cleithrophobia. That is the fear of being trapped.
How long has it been since we've had a legitimately named phobia? Because
Yeah, I
lately,
know. It's
this
like-
season, it's always
yeah.
like, too tight phobia. It's, come on, guys. Use a word. Make up something. Okay.
Yeah, so they've come up with this word. It is the fear of being trapped. You might be completely fine with small spaces, provided there is a visible way out.
Huh. Okay. Yeah.
So it may cause that panic sense if you're locked in, and you might be terrified of a very large space
Right.
if there is no way out.
If your jail
Right?
cell is the size of your apartment, but it's still a jail cell,
Yes.
that's scary.
If you can't get out,
Right.
that's what causes claustrophobia. So you can see there's a lot of overlap between claustrophobia and claustrophobia, right?
Yes.
It may be that there's a small space and a way out, and you can get out. That would be an indication of claustrophobia if you're still terrified of that space, if it causes you to have that anxiety. But if you happen to be in a small space with no way out,
Right.
claustrophobics are going to start raising their hands. So that's where it is. The difference is that the focus of the anxiety is on the exit specifically and not the size of the space or confinement.
Yeah.
So let's just work through some examples, quiz show style, and we'll see if we can figure out which trigger. Are you triggering claustrophobia, claustrophobia, or both?
Claustro-clythro. Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
So let's go back to our TSA example. What are you feeling if you are stuck in the TSA line?
I would think clythrophobia because you're not, while people are near you, the area you're in is vast. It's an enormous
Yes.
room. Yeah.
The thing that's triggering for me about that is you're not only stuck in the space, you're stuck in a process.
Right.
You can't get out. And that's what gets to the emotional bit that Hillary's talking about too, which is if I choose to escape this place, I can get out. But if I choose to escape this place, I am choosing not to travel. I'm choosing to say no to the family reunion or the whatever it is. And
you're in a room filled with security people looking for errant or aberrant behavior. And so if all of a sudden you're like, nope, can't do this, and just start
Gotta go.
unclipping all the lines, you're going to be on a lot of different weird watch lists.
That's right. That's right. They love it when you start unclipping the ropes, too. You should definitely try that. Okay. How about once you actually get through TSA and you get on the airplane? What are we triggering if you're feeling anxiety there?
If I would think both. Depending on how tall you are, you definitely can't. It's definitely clythro because, oh wait, has the plane taken off?
Let's say yes.
Then it's definitely clythro because there's no escaping. You can unclip all the ropes you want. You're still way high up in the air. But then claustro, it's with the way that airlines hate people. You're in a very tight sort of space. God forbid you have to use the restroom, which is half the size of your seat.
That was my next one on the list.
Oh, really?
An airport or an airplane bathroom. So now we're triggering claustro.
Yeah.
You have to use the bathroom or you make a mess. But there is an exit, right, from the bathroom.
Oh, I keep forgetting about this exit thing. Right. Okay, yes.
If you're on the plane and you're experiencing claustrophobia, that is the anxiety. You can't get off the plane while
But you
it's
can
flying.
make the restroom, you can get out and go to a bigger place. Got it.
The restroom, you could go to a bigger place. Okay,
interesting.
how about you're in a long line at the grocery store? Would it be
Neither.
triggering for you really at all? Neither. Okay, that's fine. How about this?
Am I
though?
talking
This
for
is the one
me,
that is
or am I
triggering
talking
me.
for like a proverbial?
You know,
Who
let's say
knows?
it's
No one's listening.
nobody
Okay.
knows.
No one's
Now you're at a
listening to this
long line at the
podcast.
grocery store, and now you're next in line, and so you're between the candy bars and the conveyor belt,
Uh-huh.
and there's people behind you and baggers and people in front of you, and now the only thing you can do is pay and watch your food go by.
What would trigger me is if all of a sudden I realized I forgot something.
Huge.
Then I would feel like I was trapped.
Totally.
Because
you can't.
Rude to leave and run, and now, it's just, that feels weirdly confining, even though I could probably just say, hi, it's called a banana. I'll be right back.
Yeah, right.
And who buys one banana anyways at the grocery
Who stands
store?
in line and waits for that?
Yeah.
You know what? You just go find a road banana.
Right.
You're fine. All right. You're sitting in an open coffin in a funeral home.
What? What? Your hypothetical situations are going down a weird path. You're sitting in an open in a funeral home.
No, you're just checking them out. Like maybe you're shopping and you want to see if it's comfortable.
I guess it would be, but it's open. I would think it would just be claustrophobic because you can easily get out and it's open. So it's like leg claustrophobic. It's like a canoe.
All of this, I'm surprised how seriously you took that one. It was all an excuse for me to talk about being buried alive again.
Oh.
And that's awful. It has its entire own anxiety, but I was going to let you just go. Anyway.
Do you know what I just figured out, though?
What?
Coffins are kayaks for dead people. Because you put your legs in and just the top of you.
The real trick of this is that this can be very serious. And the most heartbreaking example that I came up with in my research was a gentleman who was struggling with claustrophobia, and his experience was that he was trapped in the air.
Oh, what?
He felt like the air touching his body was inescapable and that he was constantly trapped in it.
Oh, that's
so
horrifying.
You get a sense, like we're laughing about the goofy things and the standing in line at the TSA, but this can be an excruciatingly terrifying anxiety.
And I forgot about the sad part that Hillary said that she elected to not go on the trip.
Yeah. Right.
So for it to be that forbidding that she missed a family trip is sad. Very sad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things that with systematic desensitization, cognitive behavioral therapy, like you can be talked through it.
Sure.
And so we've talked about that before. I did find one therapist who said if you have milder symptoms, if you have anxiety that you feel like you're in control over, but it makes you feel like you get a stomachache, you have nausea, those sorts of things, you should probably treat this like you're casing a heist for a heist, right?
Okay, why?
Yeah. Think about leaving yourself an escape route from everywhere you are where you feel like you might feel trapped.
Interesting.
If you're shopping, whatever it is, case the joint, right? Find your exits first. If you feel like there's an issue with the bathroom door that you're in and your bathroom door lock sticks, maybe go in and open a window just so you know that if worse comes to worse, you've tested the exit. And you could get out that way. If you're going into a building, make sure you maybe drive around the building and look at where the exits are and make sure that there are places to get out. If you're in a crowded movie theater, if we ever do that again, make sure that your theater has an exit that is nearby. Those things, even if you don't have to sit next to an exit in a movie theater,
they're still
just
affirming.
Knowing it's there, it is affirming. That is exactly what it is. And it'll make you feel calm in certain situations and allow you to take more of a part in the event and not be overwhelmed by the anxiety. In some cases, you may just need to have some sort of a medical intervention because you're trapped in air. That's a thing that's truly debilitating. There is one last trick that I read about that I don't believe we've ever talked about on this show. It was new to me. It is called the thought stopping and controlling obsessive thoughts tool.
You kind of ran out of steam there. Yeah, okay.
I did. That was not a good headline.
Make an acronym of that.
No, TSCOTIG.
Oh, the ticker.
Yeah. Okay. So I thought this was good, and I think this would work for you because you'd spend a lot of time talking to objects. So you won't be seen as an oddball at all when you're doing this. So one, when you experience a recurring thought, I admit I'm going to struggle getting through this now because I'm imagining you do it. When you come up with a recurring thought or something that you want to stop, whether you're standing in the grocery store looking at your Oreo cookies, or maybe you're in the deli, a crowded deli, I want you to yell, "Stop!" loud with your mouth hole. Because
out loud.
Yeah. Yell "Stop!" because yelling "Stop!" creates that sensitivity cycle, right? You're hearing it not from your inside voice because if you're having an obsessive thought spiral, your inside voice is the one you're already trained to ignore. Because the spiral is a spiral for a reason. But if you're in control of yourself enough to hit that outside voice, you'll hear the voice as someone else. So yell "Stop." Number two,
Yep.
Negate the bad thought in a positive way by exchanging the negative thought for a positive one. Replace I cannot or I will not with I can or I will eat you, Oreo cookie. Don't worry.
I will be your best friend, Deli. I'm saying this out loud, right? Okay,
yeah,
good.
this all is out loud.
Okay.
Take a deep breath or learn a breathing relaxation technique to help you relax instead of feeling anxiety, and say the peaceful thought out loud or in your mind repeatedly until the bad thought disappears. Again, emphasis on out loud. You want to create that loop. You want to hear the other voice.
If I did, I would go something like, "Stop! I love you, Deli." Is that what we're? Yeah, that's what it's going to sound like.
No, you nailed it in one.
Tomorrow
I can't believe it. Tomorrow, at the store right now. You're doing great. You nailed it. Complete these steps every time you notice a recurring thought. That's it. Thank you so much, Hillary. You're amazing. And I hope that you have a chance to chuckle along with us a little bit and not fear the TSA so much, and try not to get a middle seat for sure, because they're the worst.
Pete, you gave me so many hypotheticals. Can I give you one? And you can tell me if it's claustrophobia, other?
No, I don't think so. I feel like this is a setup, and we've been doing this long enough that I should know better.
Can you, here, okay, so here it is. What if you are trapped in a Shocktato? In June of 2007, 21-year-old Ben Carpenter of Paw Paw, Michigan, got a boost that no one saw coming. Carpenter, who suffers from muscular dystrophy, was strapped into his electric wheelchair and crossing a street in front of a large truck, stopped for a red light. Carpenter was still in front of the truck when the light turned green, but was too low for the truck driver to see him, and the truck headed out. The truck bumped into the side of the wheelchair, which then started turning forward, its handles becoming lodged in the grill. This began Mr. Carpenter's wild ride, where Carpenter and his wheelchair was pushed about 3.5 miles down the Red Arrow Highway at speeds of over 50 miles per hour. Eventually, other motorists were able to flag down the shocked truck driver, and the wild ride came to an end. Good news, Ben Carpenter was incredibly 100% uninjured, and his wheelchair, apart from some lost rubbers on the tires, was completely operational. Carpenter later noted that it was scary but also fun. The tires were replaced, and Carpenter happily attended a muscular dystrophy camp just one day later. This is an example of a harrowing boost with a surprisingly lucky outcome. Want to be a part of a boost where a happy ending is guaranteed? Why not give us a boost and become a What's That Smell Panic Pal? For a one-time only non-renewing contribution of $35, you will help us pay for this whole season and make it up for all the other seasons you guys were real Grinches about beforehand. It supports the time and expenses for production of the season and all of the hard work that Pete does and I pretend that I do. You will have access to live streams. Like, for instance, you would be able to be looking at a Shocktato just today. Can you believe it? You will also have access to members-only episodes like the COVID sessions and other bonus material to be announced. Pete, can you think of one other thing that is involved in this package?
No.
Okay, well, it was a sticker, but that's okay. We'll get back to work. A sticker. And of course, we'll be your best friends. You'll have our undying love. So please go to whatsthatsmell.net to learn how to donate. Again, $35, and we will give you the world. And with that, on with the show. Quiz time, Pete.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to start listing things, and you tell me what they all have in common.
Oh, goodness.
Ready?
I fail this every time.
I don't think that's accurate. Is that true?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Dark criminal.
So far, we just have one. Oh, dark criminal. Mm-hmm.
Industry.
Mystery. Okay.
Insecure.
So far, the military-industrial complex.
Lupin.
Harry Potter.
The Crown, The Expanse, The Third Day, Ozark, Queen's Gambit, The
Politician.
Politician.
They're all TV shows. They're great TV shows.
Giri Haji, Medical Police, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, The Alienist.
Yeah, they're all. Are they Netflix? No, they're Stars. They're all on some other streaming channel I don't have. What are they?
They are all over the place in all these different streamings. That is a very partial list of cable or TV shows that have been recommended to me by people that I love and I trust and that I have not watched. And these are just the series. I'm not even including the mountain of documentaries and movies that are on my list for recommendations. Pete, we have reached what is called peak streaming, not Pete streaming, peak streaming saturation. And I'm embarrassed to say that it stresses me out. My anxiety this week is there's just too much great content out there to consume. and I am 100% falling behind.
Okay, good. I
Real
love this.
quick, I'm not alone, of course. Content aggregator Likewise Incorporated conducted a survey of thousands of people and found that 70% of average households say that despite having access to so much content, they often struggle to figure out what to watch next. And that was back in 2018. Oh my God. Pete, what is your relation, if any? You can feel fine to just be like, take it, Tom, and just go get a snack. But what is your relation to this fact that we are streaming, drowning in content all the time?
I definitely live there too. I have a lot, and it's to the point where I have an app. I have picked many apps to try, but this app in particular, in order to just track the things that I have started watching, so that I can know where I am at any given point. I just have so many shows.
Because without it, you could lose
I get lost.
track.
Yeah, I would totally get lost. So right now, I can tell you, and there are shows, they're like climbing mountains right now. It's, have you watched? So one that was often recommended to me was the Clone Wars, Star Wars, the Clone Wars, which is the animated show that is in canon for Star Wars, the Star Wars universe. And it takes place between episodes 2 and 3. So it's in the midst of the prequel. And,
that's when they were like talking about the Stamp Act.
And so I was told, you have to watch this, but it's 20 episodes a season, and there are 7 seasons. But everybody said the last 4 episodes of that show are the best Star Wars that there's ever been. Like, it's just
but
the
you
best.
Have to get through all of
but
the
you
rest
have to
of
get
the
through it. How do you keep track of that? So I have a TV app to help me keep track of that. It causes me great stress too. Long story short, we are
simpatico. Okay. You brought up something that was exactly right. One of the things that holds me back is binging culture. When an entire season of something is released all at once, or if I have fallen way behind on something, it's too intimidating to stare down the barrel of more than 3 seasons of something. Yeah. And I absolutely have the time. I'm not saying, of course I have the time, but it just feels rough. It feels intimidating and something that I just don't know if I want to tackle. For instance, as an example, much to the chagrin of my friends, have you watched Breaking Bad?
Yes.
See, Pete, that's great. And I know that because I'm on episode 2, season 1. And I've been there for years. I even know the language of the show because it's trickled down through other things. Say my name. I'm the one who knocks. Heisenberg. I don't know what any of that means, Pete. I just know those phrases. I literally don't know a single what any of that means. Heisenberg. I don't know if I'm getting there. But the thing is, I didn't watch it at the time. One of the reasons I didn't watch it at the time is actually my grandfather, my late grandfather, was going through cancer. And when it started, it's cancer adjacent, the show is. And so I just didn't want to watch that. And then I just fell way behind and I've never caught up. And I'm just staring at it. It's on Netflix. It's at the top of my queue. And it will be there potentially for the rest of my life because I don't feel it's too hard for me to go I miss the weekly release schedule.
Yes.
That's what I miss.
Yeah.
If I wish that there were just more shows that I cared about that would release every week, because then I feel like I'm on top of it.
Do you wish that they could say, like, you could go into Netflix and say, only show me 1 episode at a time. Don't even show me how many seasons there are or whatever. Just show it to me as if it was. That would be an amazing Netflix tool. If I could just say Breaking Bad, like,
because then I'm not
only show me season 1.
I'm staring at 1. Yeah.
And then whatever day I start Breaking Bad, it will not show me episode 2 until that same day next week. Somebody
would be great.
Intern, you need to get writing on that.
Or you can do an entire season in pill form.
You took a good idea and made it weird.
One of the things that this leads me to, and I wanted to check with you, it doesn't sound like maybe you do this, but because I feel so overwhelmed and that I'm already so behind on stuff, and I'm a nervous person, and storming of the Capitol, one of the things that I do too often is I go back and rewatch movies I've already seen, which I love rewatching movies. That's important, but I'm doing it for comfort. And it's instead of being able to choose something new, and all of those shows that I just said are just passing me by. Yeah. And I really desperately want to watch them, but it's just really hard.
Yeah. No,
there's
totally
a real mental block.
For me, that show right now is For All Mankind.
What is that?
It's an Apple TV Plus show, space
Okay.
alternative future or alternative history space race. And
Well, that sounds great.
yeah, it sounds great. Add it to the list. Oh my goodness. No, I totally get that. And if I could, because of that, I cannot count how many times I've seen the movie Ronin with Robert De Niro. It is my comfort
Ronin.
movie. I love Ronin
Yeah.
so much.
Draw it again. Draw it again.
Yeah. Right.
We're here, and they kill each other in the crossfire. That's always the great. Yeah, that's a great movie. I like that.
We're gonna
movie.
need cars. It's gonna have to be something with a little shove to it. Oh, I love that line. It's got a little shove to it. So that's the same thing, because if you tell me, like, my wife and I used to watch Grey's Anatomy. Oh, that hospital drama, Meredith Grey and her comings and goings, amazing show. And then we got off kilter right around season 7.
Yeah,
I am not going to watch 300 episodes to catch up to present. I'm not going to do it. McDreamy's not even on the show anymore.
What?
I don't even know what to say about that.
Who is Mick?
Dreamy.
Flurry?
McDreamy.
Oh. It's not McFlurry. Okay.
It turns out the whole show she has a McDonald's addiction and an eating disorder, and she just can't stop eating McFlurries. That's what it's about. What if anybody asks you, tell them that.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
So there's two things going on. There's too much different things, and then each one has too many episodes. I found something interesting that I think relates to all this. In 2000, psychologists Sheena Indiar and Mark Lepper from Columbia and Stanford University published a study about jams. Here's how it worked, real quick. On a regular day at a local food market, they set up a display table with 24 different kinds of jams. Then on another day, at that same food market, people were only given 6 different types of jam choices. What was the difference between those 2 days?
What?
Do you have a guess? And a jam fight is not the answer.
No,
Okay.
yeah, because you've already set me up for that. I have no idea what would be different. What were they even testing?
They found that while the big display table with 24 jams generated more interest, people were 10 times less likely to make a purchase, to purchase any jar of jam.
Because they had too many. There were too many jams.
Having too many options paralyzes the consumer.
Yeah.
So they were more interested. They showed up and they're like, hooray, hooray, jam party. And then pump up the jams. What?
Yeah.
So that's one. Too many options paralyzes the consumer. You go back and watch Ronin instead.
Yes.
There's another thing that's going on. And I want to see what your thoughts are about it. I'm sure this is like a well-known thing that people have already said, but this just occurred to me. So I get the credit for it today. I'm the captain now. It relates to the social situation of watching. Other than flashes into the pan like Tiger King, which I still haven't watched it.
I haven't watched Tiger King.
I'm never going to watch it. I'm so glad
I will
people
never
stopped
see
talking
it.
about Tiger King.
Thank God.
I know more about Breaking Bad than I do about Tiger King. There are no real water cooler shows anymore, meaning there's not any one thing that everyone is watching.
Right.
And so in order to participate in shared culture, there's 9 streams. You just have to choose one. And becomes like a loaded choice of what if you spend like 22 episodes on something that's just okay, and then everyone else watch something else.
Yeah.
Then you're just stuck on an island of who cares. So that's another thing that I think is going into it. It's a loaded choice. There's more pressure on what to choose.
Somebody should have told Netflix that as they announced their 2021 major film slate last week, right? With 70 movies, more than a movie a week.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Oy.
featuring all of them have Academy Award winners and huge box office stars. They're just major properties. And I will not watch all 70 of those movies, Tom. I just won't.
No.
There's too much. There's too much to watch. And I totally
What if
get
there were
it.
70 remakes of Ronin?
I would watch every one of those.
I understand.
Yeah. No. I already know how it ends.
There's necessarily no real big answer to this. And it is a problem it's embarrassment of riches. It's better than having no content. But there is one thing that I saw, because I didn't want to go too research heavy into this, but there is something that I saw that might help as far as your mindset, because it made sense to me. Have you ever heard of Nobel laureate economist Herbert A. Simon?
Have I? He's my uncle.
Oh my God. Okay. Uncle Simon classifies consumers into 2 groups, maximizers and satisfiers. Can I just explain what each of those are very briefly?
Please. I have delusions of maximizing right now.
Maximizers share similar traits to perfectionists. They want to know for certain that their choice is the best one available by considering all the other options. But of course, with streaming culture, that's impossible. It is impossible to sift through millions of shows in a streaming platform's library. That's impossible. On the contrary, satisfiers don't stress over the quality of what they have chosen, nor do they compromise their standards. They usually just stick to their first choice that suits them and stops exploring further. Thus, they end up feeling more
satisfied
with the outcome. One of the things that I'm going to try to do as I move forward, maybe to season 1, episode 3 of Breaking Bad, is to try to take off some of that pressure. There is no shared culture fully. There's shared fragmentation of culture at all. And just find something that I watch. I think I'm letting my consumption control me sometimes. Everything is fine. You don't have to watch everything. And even if we do miss something like a huge event like Tiger King. Remember Tiger King?
I know more about Grey's Anatomy.
The thing is, now nobody talks about it. It's just gone.
It's gone.
And they're planning a movie for it. I don't care about the movie
I don't care
either.
about that, yeah.
One of the good things is that things are just moving so fast that you can just go on to the next thing.
What's funny that you say that. Like, I think I am a third group, which I am both a maximizer and I'm a satisfier.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was number 2.
But you put those together and you become a completionist, right?
Oh, dangerous.
It's very dangerous. If I start something, I feel like I have to finish it. I have a moral imperative to finish it. And so when I start season 1, episode 1, that's the only thing I'm watching. That is the only thing my time will be taken up in. So that's how I can get, that's the binge curse. But it's also I'm not just binging something on a Saturday, Sunday weekend, just watch the whole thing. I don't have time to do that. So I don't make time for anything else strung out over weeks and months. Like I'll watch the only thing I'll do with my free time, if I have 20 minutes of free time, I'll watch 20 minutes of this show and won't do anything else until I'm done. And anything else, like I won't read a book. Right?
Because
that's what I have to fight.
Flag planted.
Yeah,
in this one thing.
One thing at a time. I have to finish it. And once I'm done with that, then I can move on to something else. And if I have an audiobook going, I will listen to the whole audiobook before I can start another bit of media. And I think it's frustrating. It's so frustrating.
Also would lead to the intimidation.
Yeah.
And the reluctance to start something new because you're just on an island.
Yeah, right. And so I feel like now with the streaming wars and all of the different platforms and, do you have a free trial of HBO Max? And, they don't do free trials anymore. You better just sign up. And it's like that whole kind of culture.
Like these flirty, hey, it's me. Stars.
Can I tell you?
Does anyone know what I am?
Canopy. Canopy is, do you know
What's
Canopy?
Canopy? I know what the word is.
Canopy is the streaming service behind library access. I mean, like public library access.
Oh, Canopy spelled with a K. I did know that.
Right.
Why do I know that?
I love Canopy because it is the only service, I think it's the only service that allows you to watch films at speeds other than 1x. Controversial opinion.
Why would you want to do that, Pete? Because you're a completionist.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what this leads me back to?
What?
Pill form. Everything in pill form.
You know what? I thought you were a real numbnuts when you said that before, but now I realize you might just have earned the Nobel Prize.
Yeah, now because you're over there like making fun of my pill form, but you're watching Ken Burns' Civil War 8 times. Just letters and other vectors.
There is no speed that makes Ken Burns fast enough. There's no speed.
If you speed it up, your brain starts making it slow down. Yeah.
It will slow it down, and it will all be to a haunting violin solo. I'm not kidding. So anyway, I'm totally right with you. I think it's hard. I'm in the middle of this myself every day. And what's even funnier, so my wife and I have a show. And I just mean a show that we watch at the end of the day to wind down. Here's the problem is that my children are sentient beings. They have their own will. And our show was fantastic. It was the Great British Bake Off. Do you watch the Great British Bake Off?
No, because I don't like sweets. Move on. No, just kidding. I love like Top Chef and stuff, but I like to pretend to eat the things that they're making, and I don't care for sweets.
This is like breads and savory stuff, you know. I mean, it's not all sweet. Some of it's very sweet, but it is just baking. It's like baking meat pies and like pot pies and and
I like
breads and
those
loaves
things.
and braiding things and doing incredible decorations and structural elements in baked goods. Build me a
Oh.
building. Last night it was build me a box for cookies, but the box has to also be made out of cookie, and they have to be different cookies. And so people are making like savory biscuit cookies, right? Like savory tea
Oh.
cookies or things that are not sweet. So don't make that a thing.
Oh,
It
okay.
is wonderful. And that was our show. Me and my wife, it was our show. That was the
Yeah.
show we'd watch at the end of the day. And then one at
Yeah.
a time, my Rugrat kids come in and like, what are you watching? That's really funny. I want to watch that. Don't watch it without me. Don't watch it. And then they've hijacked our show.
Took it away
Now,
from you. Yep.
I can't watch the British Bake Off. And ridiculously, my wife and I now feel like we have no show. We
Oh.
have no show. There are uncounted billions of shows to watch, and we feel like there's nothing on. What is
Yeah.
that brain damage? What is that brain damage, Tom?
Well, now instead of having your show, you can have your pill that just you and your wife take. Start with Ambien, and then while
Just
you're
go
asleep,
to hell to sleep.
yeah, yeah, watch. That's nature's show. It's just dreams.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode. This week's tune is Zombie Funk by Steve Poloni.
I'm Tommy Metz III.
And I'm Pete Wright. Thanks for downloading. We'll be back next week on What's That? Smell?